Yo, welcome to Hot Takes with Cheddar Chaz, which is no hand holding. We deal with facts, not emotion. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Got a really good show today. Really interesting show. But before we get into it, let's get a message from our sponsors. Hey, this segment is brought to you by Neutral Vodka Seltzer. Real vodka, real juice, refreshingly simple, tasty, and uncomplicated. Neutral Vodka, the official seltzer of Straight Up Saints Podcast and Boo Crew Media. Thank you. Yo, so we back. Today's show, I already know. It's going to be a lot of backlash, right? But we got to talk about it. That's why you come here and talk about what's hot, what's popping, right? So, I don't know if many of you have been following the Miles Bridges situation or his domestic violence allegations made by his wife, I believe, and the mother of his children. He had a court appearance sometime, I believe it was sometime this week, and it was a pushback. They're in LA, so a lot of stuff is probably crowded and things like that. So they're probably I wouldn't be surprised if that situation isn't resolved until next year sometime, honestly. Like COVID on top of it being Los Angeles, on top of it being what would you call it? High profile situation. I can see that being pushed back significantly. But the question I want to ask is Miles Bridges a buy low candidate? Low risk, high reward candidate for the Pelicans. He was certainly in line to get a $25 million plus contract by, all analysts' opinion. Had a really good year last year. I think he's a 34% career 3-point shooter. This hell of a wing, hell of a player. 24 years old, hell of a player. So far, the Hornets haven't rescinded his qualifying offer so far. I think with his his troubles in the media and in the press, due to the domestic violence allegations, and these are allegations at this point, his values probably decreased significantly until this is resolved. So I was thinking maybe something along the lines of a 2-year, $20 million contract, maybe with a player option for the second year. Or maybe not. Griff's not really that into doing player options. And also, do you really want to give a guy a player option if you're doing him a favor by offering him this contract? I can't imagine he has many suitors right now, considering the allegation and considering today's, age and things already going on with the NBA. I'm sure he doesn't have a ton of suitors. So you would kind of be doing him a favor probably. But I look at it like this, man. I'm not a person who pretends athletes mean more to me than they do. I'm not a person who puts my moral compass on entertainers, right? Because these people are human beings. They're not infallible. They're not politicians. You know what I'm saying? They're, I guess, to some regard, leaders in their community here and there. But these are young men and women. These are young men and women, right? These people make mistakes. These people are going to have, they're up against more things than the average person, right? They're going to be money grabs. They're going to be civil suits. They're going to be people lying on them. They have access to things, so they're going to make more mistakes at a higher level. There's cameras on them, so their mistakes are broadcast to more people. You're going to know when they do something wrong. There's a lot of shit you're not going to know about because they have money too. But that being said, I've introduced the concept of Miles Bridges coming off the bench for the Pelicans a couple times, right? In private. And for the most part, it's been met with a little bit of, nah, I don't want to do that because, he's guilty. Here's my issue with that, right? We don't know if he's guilty. We really don't know anything. And that's the problem with the social media era. And that's also the problem with fans' entitlement to players, right? This person deserves due process. This person is to be presumed innocent until proven guilty, right? We really don't know anything. This is a domestic issue. We have just as much information as a person who doesn't follow sports at all. We don't know anything. We're sitting on the sideline. This is a process. Now, you can say, I would rather wait and see how the process plays out before I make a decision. And that's totally fair. Totally understand that. But to totally condemn a person before you have all the information, to me, it's totally hypocritical. Absolutely hypocritical. Because there's several instances I can point to where I know for a fact this fan base didn't condemn a person, right? If you continue to watch the Saints after Drew Brees' Yahoo interview after the murder of George Floyd, you're a hypocrite. If you continue to watch the Saints after the Saints signed Malcolm Jenkins, when Malcolm Jenkins, according to Eric Reed and Colin Kaepernick, backstabbed those two guys who were at the forefront of the player protest, you're a hypocrite, right? If you watch Mark Wahlberg movies after he's admitted to being a teenager and in a racist attack, blinding a man. He's blind. He has physically assaulted and blinded a man. He was throwing rocks at school buses, calling black people the N-word. If you continue to watch his films and support him, you're a hypocrite, right? If you tweeted, hey, free Brittany Griner, but you're not going to give Miles Bridges the same benefit of doubt or the same grace or same empathy after she's been, I guess I don't want to say accused, she's been convicted of domestic abuse and allegedly and had to go to what was it? Anger management. I think she copped out to anger management allegedly, right? I say allegedly. I mean, this is documented, but I'm saying allegedly, just out of respect. But you're a hypocrite. But we'll see. We shall see. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I do think Miles Bridges will be a hell of an option off the bench because I do think this team needs wing depth. It's not necessarily something that's blatant. It's not something, I think people kind of overestimate the depth on this team. That's just my opinion. I do think this team still needs some dynamic guard play, rim protection. I do think they need wing depth because two of our, front court players are off injured in BI and Zion. So a guy like Miles Bridges coming off the bench would do wonders for this team in the long run. But that's been today's show, man. Please be sure to comment. Let me know. Hit me on Twitter. Let's have a conversation. Nothing's wrong with a conversation. Don't be afraid of the conversation. And let's keep it respectful. Keep it classy, man. That's today's show. I'm out.